Joe King comes out on stage and says, "Hello, yes, my name's Joe King. I'm not joking, though I do prefer to be called Juris Dr. King. Anyway, so our guest tonight is Jimmy Buffett." Applause, applause, applause. King: "Yes, very good. And since our show is SNL-centric, I decided to go and watch the episode that Jimmy was the musical guest for SNL back in his third season, May 13th, 1978. And since I want to honor those SNL greats who've gone before us, and I also want to keep my Saturday Night Alive cast fresh for their eventual return to our original show, I decided that here on this show, we would have the late, great John Belushi reenact his performance in the monologue on that May 13th, 1978 episode." John Belushi comes out on stage. Applause, applause, applause. King: "Now, after a cold open where John and Miss Gilda Radner portrayed Mexican marijuana growers who had their buds covered in paraquat and still sold to the United States, John Belushi came out and involved himself in host Richard Dreyfuss's monologue. As King puts on a Hamlet costume and reveals an Oscar statue, he says, "Since Mr. Richard Dreyfuss is still alive, I am going to portray Richard myself, and John will play himself during that monologue that we are going to recreate from May 13th, 1978. Now, for some context, Dreyfuss was fresh off having won an Oscar, which some thought should have gone to Richard Burton for his portrayal of Hamlet, so naturally SNL had Dreyfuss come out dressed as Hamlet while holding his Oscar. Now, here we go. Pardo: "Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Dreyfuss." King: "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel really stupid. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I suppose I should explain this. See, I just wanted to come out at this part of the show and talk to you as myself, but a certain not ready for primetime player said that people are going to want to see you act. After all, not every one of our hosts has won an Academy Award, which is true. And anyway, this certain not ready for primetime player said that some people didn't think I deserved the Oscar. Some people thought that Richard Burton deserved the Oscar. Said Richard Burton was great in Hamlet, you know, and said, if you're such a good actor, let's see you do Hamlet. So I said, I don't think I have to prove anything, you know, just because I won the Academy Award. And he said, you mean you are supposedly the best actor in the world and you're afraid to play Hamlet? So I said, hold it. I'm not the best actor in the world, but I'm not afraid to play anything, John. So clearly I walked right into it here. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I have to do this. Hamlet Soliloquy, Act 3, Scene 1 by William Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, end them. Belushi: to die, to sleep. King: what? What did you say? Belushi: to die, to sleep. King: why are you doing this? Belushi: I was just giving you a line, Richard. I could see you were in trouble there. King: no, I was not in trouble. Belushi: well, there was that long gap there, you know, and I figured you forgot your lines. King: no, there was not a gap, John. It was a dramatic pause, a way of communicating to the audience the meaning of the words, and you ruined it. You blew the moment for me. Belushi: well, hey, look. All I know is I saw a fellow actor in trouble, and I came out to help you. King: silence is not trouble, John. Silence is not trouble. Sometimes a moment filled with silence can say a lot more than a moment filled with words. Belushi: okay, you know. I know you don't do TV. I just saw you lost your place in the cue cards, that's all. King: I don't use cue cards, John, and when I do Shakespeare, actors who do Shakespeare don't use cue cards, you know. Belushi: oh, Shakespeare, wow. What do I know, huh? I'm just a sleazy late-night TV actor, is that it? King: no, I didn't mean that. Belushi: I know about Shakespeare, huh? Mr. Oscar, Mr. Best Actor. Now, Richard Burton, now there's an actor. He did Hamlet. When he did Hamlet, he was great. He didn't have to use any pauses. But it takes one drink, and Hollywood blackballs him, huh? Mr. New Hollywood Establishment. You know, at least when George C. Scott won the Oscar, he didn't accept it, you know? Marlon Brando sent up an Indian. Now, you could have sent up an Indian, but no! You roll up there like, I can stay up here all night. Like maybe I'm just a struggling TV actor. Maybe I didn't win the Oscar, you know? Maybe I have to work every week just to keep my family in clothes and drugs. Maybe I don't know that much about Shakespeare, you know, or about pausing or England. But I do know one thing. As Belushi takes the Oscar statue from King, he says, "You didn't deserve this Oscar." Belushi punches King in the stomach and walks off stage with the Oscar. King, Jesus, that was supposed to be a stage punch, John. John Belushi, everybody. Applause, applause, applause. King walks off stage and onto another stage, sits at a seat behind a desk and says, "Folks, please welcome to the program legendary musical artist, Jimmy Buffett." Jimmy Buffett emerges from behind the curtain and waves at the audience. Applause, applause, applause. Buffett walks over and takes a seat next to King's desk. King, welcome to the program, Jimmy. Buffett, thank you for having me. King, any relation to Warren? Buffett, nope. King, very good. Now, you were born on Christmas in 1946 in Mississippi to James and Mary Buffett? Buffett, that's right. King, now growing up, you didn't play guitar, but instead the trombone in the school band. Buffett, that's right. I didn't start playing guitar until my freshman year at Auburn University. King, okay. Now you began your musical career in Nashville, Tennessee during the late 60s as a country artist and recorded your first album, Down to Earth, in 1970? Buffett, that's right, but during that time I spent most of my time busking for tourists in New Orleans. King, very good. And how did your career develop from there? Buffett, well, in 1971 I got hired by a Nashville club called Exit In to open for Diane Davidson. And then I went with Jared Jeff Walker to Key West on a busking expedition. I then moved to Key West and was kind of an easygoing beach bum. I played for drinks at a hotel and kind of started combining different types of music to create what's sometimes called Gulf and Western music. King, very good. And you came out with a few more albums, including Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Altitudes, which featured your breakthrough hit, Margaritaville. Buffett, that's right. King, now during the 80s, you started to tour constantly and became a huge concert draw, and your fans became known as Parrot Heads, similar to Deadheads for the Grateful Dead. Buffett, yeah, I'm so grateful for all my wonderful Parrot Heads. I had a great group of fans that made all my touring a wonderful time. King, very good. Now, this show is SNL-centric, so I have to ask, how was being the musical guest on SNL back in its third season? Buffett, I was honored to be on the show, and everyone there was very welcoming. I had just broken my leg a few weeks earlier, but was glad I was still able to do the show. I was a little nervous, but had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Okay, very good. Now, instead of getting into the minutia of how you became a billionaire from all your tours, merchandising, writing, restaurants, and all of that, I thought that we would give you a special treat by having our show's personal parrot head, Chris Farley, sing you a song. Buffett, okay. Chris Farley comes out on stage in a Hawaiian shirt and says, "I love you, Jimmy." Buffett smiles and nods. King, Chris is going to sing you a song near and dear to his heart, clearly. Cheeseburger in Paradise. Farley. Tried to amend my carnivorous habits, made it nearly 70 days. Losing weight without speed, eating sunflower seeds, drinking lots of carrot juice and soaking up rays. But at night I'd have these wonderful dreams, some kind of sensuous treat. Not zucchini, fettuccine, or bulgur wheat, but a big warm hunk of meat. Cheeseburger in paradise. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. Not too particular, not too precise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. Heard about the old-time sailormen. They'd eat the same thing again and again. Warm beer and bread, they say, could raise the dead. Well, it reminds me of the menu at a Holiday Inn. The times have changed for sailors these days. When I'm in port, I get what I need. Not just Havanas or bananas or daiquiris, but that American creation on which I feed. Cheeseburger in paradise. Medium rare with monster be nice. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. I like mine with lettuce and tomato. Heinz 57 and French fried potatoes. Big kosher pickle and a cold draft beer. Well, good God Almighty, which way do I steer? For my cheeseburger in paradise. Making the best of every virtue and vice. Worth every damn bit of sacrifice to get a cheeseburger in paradise. To be a cheeseburger in paradise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise. I like mine with lettuce and tomato. Heinz 57 and French fried potatoes. Big kosher pickle and a cold draft beer. Well, good God Almighty, which way do I steer? Applause, applause, applause. Okay.
Jimmy Buffett, everybody.
Applause, applause, applause. Okay.
That's all the time we have for this show, but tune in the next one where we interview another deceased guest. Until then, I'm Joe King, and I'm not joking.